Gentlemen, let me ask you something that very few doctors dare to ask out loud. Have you ever considered that the small handful of nuts you eat could decide whether your prostate stays strong and your erections remain reliable after 60? Or whether you slowly slide into decline without even realizing it? Most men never think about it. They imagine that aging is a straight road downhill and food is just food. Yet what you choose to snack on, something as ordinary as a bowl of nuts, can be the line between staying vibrant and confident or years of silent frustration. My name is Dr. Jonathan Prescott. For more than 30 years, I have worked as a urologist and men's health specialist. I've walked beside thousands of men just like you, men who carry the weight of a lifetime on their shoulders but still want to live fully, not fade away. And I'll tell you this with absolute conviction. Your daily choices, the ones you think are small, can be the very choices that protect your prostate, fuel your testosterone, and keep intimacy alive even as the birthdays pile up. This isn't just theory. It's what I've seen over decades of practice and countless conversations in my clinic. Here is the paradox that surprises almost every man who sits across from me. Not every nut is good for you. While some nuts act like medicine, boosting circulation, protecting your nerves, and keeping your hormones balanced, others, common ones you probably eat every single week, can inflame your system, clog your blood flow, and sabotage your vitality in ways you won't notice until it's too late. That is why today I want to show you the 5 nuts that every man over 60 should eat to keep his body strong, his prostate healthy, and his erections firm. And just as importantly, I will reveal the 2 nuts you must avoid if you want to hold on to your confidence and independence. Now, before we begin, I need your help. This channel is built for men like you, men who still have fire in their spirit, men who refuse to settle for decline. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way you'll never miss another men's health tip that could save you years of frustration. And if you find this video valuable, I want you to do something simple but powerful. Tap that like button right now. Because here's what I believe, every time you hit like, you're not just supporting me, you're sending a message to yourself and to the algorithm that men over 60 matter. And let me offer you a blessing with it. When you tap like today, may you find sharper energy in your mornings, may you carry a steadier confidence in your evenings, and may you rediscover joy in the moments you thought were gone for good. That's my American promise to you, straightforward, heartfelt, and earned through years of helping men reclaim their lives. And one more thing, I'd love to hear from you personally. In the comments, type 1 if you believe this kind of information matters, or type 0 if you think it doesn't. Either way, I read every comment and I value your voice. Together, we are building a community of men who refuse to give up. So stay with me because in just a moment, we'll dive into the first nut. It looks ordinary, almost boring, but inside it holds the key to circulation, nerve strength, and firmer erections than most men over 60 ever imagined possible. When I think about the first nut that truly changes the game for men over 60, the answer is clear: walnuts. They may not look like much, just rough, brain-shaped shells you've probably walked past in the grocery store 100 times, but inside them is a pharmacy that nature designed for you. Over the years in my clinic, I have recommended walnuts to countless patients, and time after time, I've seen them transform a man's energy, confidence, and even his most private moments. Why are walnuts so powerful? The secret lies in their unique mix of omega-3 fatty acids and the amino acid arginine. Together they create nitric oxide, a simple gas molecule but one that carries an extraordinary message: relax, expand, let blood flow. Without nitric oxide, arteries remain stiff and narrow, starving your prostate and your erections of the fuel they need. With nitric oxide, the floodgates open, blood surges where it must, and firmness returns. Gentlemen, this isn't wishful thinking. It's basic vascular physiology. And it's exactly why so many men report not just a subtle change, but a bold, undeniable improvement after just weeks of adding walnuts to their diet. But circulation is only part of the story. Walnuts are also loaded with vitamin E and polyphenols, 2 groups of antioxidants that guard the fragile nerve endings running from your brain down through your pelvic floor. These nerves carry the signals of pleasure, of arousal, of satisfaction. If they are inflamed or undernourished, everything feels muted, distant, unsatisfying. If they are protected, those signals remain crisp and vibrant, keeping intimacy alive and real. I've seen men in their 60s nearly tear up telling me that after a month of walnuts, intimacy with their wives felt alive again, sharper, warmer, more complete than they thought possible at their age. And we cannot forget hormones. Walnuts provide the healthy fats your body uses as the raw material for testosterone. Without stable fats, testosterone fluctuates like a broken engine, draining desire, leaving mood uneven and energy unreliable. With steady intake, hormones find balance again. Men notice they feel stronger in the mornings, calmer throughout the day, and more present in the evenings with their partners. Now, how much does it take? Not a bagful. Just a quarter cup, about a small handful sprinkled over oatmeal, tossed in a salad, or simply eaten plain. It's easy, sustainable, and powerful. One man I recall, a retired bus driver named Mr. Howard, 66 years old, told me he'd been skeptical. But after 2 months of a daily walnut ritual, he laughed and said, "Doc, I don't need to be told if it's working. My wife already told me." That's the kind of feedback no prescription pad can buy. Walnuts remind us of something essential. Nature has already hidden medicine in plain sight, waiting for us to rediscover it. They open arteries, protect nerves, and stabilize testosterone, all with something so simple you can hold it in your hand. And if walnuts can do all that, just wait until we turn to the next nut. This one has clinical proof that within weeks it can reignite erections and give back the strength men thought they had lost forever. There are some foods I recommend because tradition points to their benefits. And then there are foods I recommend because the science is simply too strong to ignore. Pistachios fall into the second category. They are not a gimmick, not a fad. They are one of the very few nuts that clinical research has directly linked to stronger, more reliable erections in men over 60. I'll never forget a man named Mr. Harold, 62 years old, a retired firefighter from Ohio. He had spent decades rushing into burning buildings, but nothing frustrated him more than the quiet failure he faced at home. Medications gave him side effects. Supplements promised much but delivered little. When I suggested pistachios, he actually chuckled. "Doc, you want me to eat green nuts to solve this?" But within 3 weeks, he was back in my office, grinning like a younger man. For the first time in years, his firmness was back. His wife had noticed. And for him, that was everything. Why pistachios? It comes down to arginine. Pistachios are rich in this amino acid, which your body transforms into nitric oxide, the same natural signal that tells your arteries to expand and send blood surging into the erectile tissue. Without it, erections are half-hearted, weak, unreliable. With it, they are full, strong, and lasting. Clinical studies confirm what Harold felt. Men who ate pistachios daily for just a few weeks showed measurable improvement in erectile function. That's not folklore, that's science, and the benefits do not end there. Pistachios actively lower LDL cholesterol, the sticky sludge that narrows arteries and suffocates blood flow. By clearing those pathways, pistachios protect not only your heart, but also your prostate and pelvic circulation. They deliver steady energy without bogging you down, making them an ideal afternoon snack. Instead of grabbing chips or sweets that spike your blood sugar, a handful of pistachios gives you satisfaction, satiety, and vascular support all in one. I often remind my patients that the body is like a system of rivers. If the main channels are clogged, nothing downstream thrives. Pistachios are like engineers clearing the dams, restoring the flow so that every part of you, especially the parts that matter most for intimacy, receives the life force it needs. For older men who want something practical, something proven, pistachios are one of the rare foods that stand in both camps, traditional wisdom and clinical evidence. And if a handful of pistachios can restore strength in weeks, imagine what happens when we move to the next nut. One that tackles the silent thief of testosterone, stress itself. When men in their 60s or 70s sit across from me in the clinic, I often see the same look in their eyes, a mixture of fatigue, tension, and quiet resignation. Many of them don't realize that stress, built up over decades of work, family, and responsibility, has been slowly draining their testosterone, weakening their confidence, and dulling their intimacy. That's when I bring up a nut most men think of as boring: almonds. Gentlemen, there is nothing boring about what almonds can do for a man's body. Take Mr. Douglas, 70 years old, a retired machinist. He told me he relied on cookies and potato chips for snacks, believing that almonds were just tasteless health food. But after weeks of struggling with poor sleep and low desire, he agreed to try my suggestion. Within a month of making almonds his go-to snack, he reported not only stronger energy and better sleep, but also a calmer mood and a rekindled spark in the bedroom. He shook my hand firmly and said, "Doc, I wish I had known this 10 years ago." Why do almonds work? First, they are rich in vitamin E, which acts like armor inside your arteries. Imagine your blood vessels as smooth highways delivering oxygen and nutrients. Oxidative stress is like rust that damages the surface, narrowing the lanes and slowing the flow. Vitamin E polishes those roads, keeping them flexible and wide open so circulation moves exactly where you need it, your prostate, your heart, and yes, your erections. Then comes magnesium, one of the most underrated minerals for men over 60. High cortisol, your body's main stress hormone, is the enemy of testosterone. Cortisol squeezes your system, keeping your body in fight or flight mode even when you're just sitting in a chair. Magnesium quietly lowers that cortisol, freeing your body to restore balance. And with lower stress, testosterone has room to rise. The result is steadier desire, stronger performance, and a calmer state of mind. But almonds give more than hormone support. Unlike processed snacks that spike your blood sugar and then leave you crashing, almonds release energy slowly and evenly. That means fewer afternoons of nodding off in your chair, fewer evenings ruined by fatigue, and more presence when your partner reaches for you. A handful of raw or lightly roasted almonds a few times a week is all it takes. I often say almonds are not just food, they are an investment. An investment in calmer days, stronger nights, and a man who feels in control of his own body again. And if almonds can fight back against stress, the silent thief of testosterone, wait until you see what comes next. A nut with hard clinical proof that erections can rebound in just weeks. When most men think of hazelnuts, they picture chocolate spreads or holiday desserts. But when you strip away the sugar and taste them for what they are, hazelnuts become one of the quiet powerhouses of men's health. They don't shout for attention like some superfoods plastered on magazine covers. Instead, they work in silence, protecting the delicate systems that keep intimacy alive. I recall speaking with Mr. George, 71 years old, a retired engineer. He told me that intimacy had lost its edge. His sensations felt muted, climax seemed weaker, and he worried that this was just the price of age. When I recommended hazelnuts, he looked at me skeptically. "Doc, you really think a few nuts can bring that back?" Weeks later, he returned with a brighter smile. His sensitivity had sharpened, his confidence had risen, and his wife had even teased him for being more attentive. It wasn't a miracle drug. It was simply nutrition doing its quiet work. What makes hazelnuts unique is their mix of folate, magnesium, and heart-healthy fats. Folate, vitamin B9, feeds your nervous system. Think of your nerves as the electrical wiring carrying signals of pleasure from your brain down to your body. Without strong insulation, those wires fray and responsiveness fades. With enough folate, the wiring stays sharp, signals stay alive, and intimacy feels vivid again. Magnesium adds another dimension. Just like almonds, hazelnuts deliver a steady dose of this mineral that lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that strangles testosterone. As cortisol falls, testosterone can rise, rekindling desire and stabilizing mood. And the fats inside hazelnuts work against inflammation, keeping your blood vessels flexible so circulation moves freely into the prostate and erectile tissue. Another hidden gift of hazelnuts is satiety. They fill you without weighing you down. For older men fighting stubborn belly fat, this is more than convenience, it's strategy. Excess fat lowers testosterone and fuels inflammation, the very enemies of male vitality. By replacing processed snacks with a handful of hazelnuts, you shift the balance back in your favor. Hazelnuts are not flashy, but they complete the circle, nourishing nerves, calming stress, reducing inflammation, and supporting hormones. They are the ally most men overlook, yet they provide exactly what aging bodies crave. And if hazelnuts can protect the very wiring of pleasure itself, the next nut takes the conversation even deeper. Because just 1 or 2 pieces a day can spark testosterone in ways few men have ever imagined. Of all the foods I recommend, Brazil nuts are the ones that draw the most raised eyebrows. Men expect me to talk about exercise routines or prescription medications. They don't expect me to say, eat 1 or 2 of these oversized nuts a day and watch what happens. Yet time and again, I've seen Brazil nuts spark a fire where men thought only ashes remained. Take Mr. Raymond, 68 years old, a retired mechanic. He came to me complaining of fading desire, low energy, and morning stiffness that was more about his back than his bedroom. He admitted he felt invisible even in his own marriage. When I told him to try just 2 Brazil nuts a day, he laughed. "Doc, that's it, that's your big secret." But a month later, he came back with a glow in his eyes. He said mornings felt different, his energy was steadier, and his wife had noticed a warmth in him that had been missing for years. The secret behind Brazil nuts is selenium, a trace mineral packed inside them in extraordinary amounts. Selenium fuels testosterone production, supports sperm health, and guards the prostate. Without it, testosterone levels slide downward, leaving men sluggish, irritable, and disconnected. And here's the important point: deficiencies are surprisingly common, especially in aging men. Soil depletion and modern diets mean many men simply aren't getting enough. That's why the effect of Brazil nuts can feel so dramatic. Your body is being replenished with a mineral it has quietly craved for years. But with Brazil nuts, moderation is everything. Selenium is powerful and too much can be harmful. The sweet spot is just 1 or 2 nuts a day, no more. Think of it as precision medicine delivered by nature. The right dose restores balance, the wrong dose overwhelms. I often suggest eating Brazil nuts in the evening. Testosterone production is most active at night, and giving your body selenium before sleep can help fuel those natural rhythms. Many men notice that morning energy, desire, and firmness return as if their bodies have remembered something they once knew but had forgotten with age. Brazil nuts may look clumsy and oversized compared to other nuts, but don't be fooled. Their power is mighty, restoring strength from the inside out with a mineral most men don't even realize they are missing. And if something so small can reignite testosterone, just imagine what happens when we take a step back from nutrition and listen directly to the voices of men like you. The questions, doubts, and stories that come from our own community. Because next, I'll answer some of the letters and comments from viewers just like you. Gentlemen, before we continue with the nuts that you must avoid, I want to pause and give space to you, the men who write in, leave comments, and share your doubts and victories. Because this channel isn't a lecture, it's a conversation. So let's dive into a few of the questions and remarks I've received from past videos. Question 1. Dr. Prescott, I've had an enlarged prostate for years. Will eating nuts really make a difference, or is it too late for me? James, 72, Florida. Answer: James, it's never too late. Food will not shrink a severely enlarged prostate overnight, but the right choices can calm inflammation, protect your circulation, and support better hormone balance. Even men well into their 70s and 80s notice improvements: less nighttime urgency, more steady energy, and yes, better function in the bedroom. Think of it as turning the tide. Small shifts in your daily habits move your health in the right direction. Question 2. Doc, are you seriously telling us nuts work better than pills? Sounds like wishful thinking. Anonymous comment. Answer: fair challenge. No, I'm not saying walnuts or pistachios replace medical treatment in every case. But here's what I am saying: pills often treat the symptom while food fuels the system. When circulation improves, when testosterone steadies, when inflammation calms, your body becomes less dependent on outside fixes. Think of nuts as part of the foundation, not as a magic trick. Question 3. My wife says if I eat more pistachios, I'll just end up snacking more and getting fat. Is she right? Carl, 66, Michigan. Answer: Carl, she's half right. You will snack more if you don't practice moderation. But pistachios are lower in calories than many snacks and packed with protein and fiber. A handful a day won't add fat, it'll likely replace worse habits. So tell your wife pistachios are your medicine. She might even thank me later. Question 4. Doc, I think you're exaggerating. I've eaten almonds for years and I'm still struggling. Why should I believe you? Frank, 70, Oregon. Answer: Frank, I respect your honesty. Food isn't a miracle cure. It's part of a larger equation. If you're still struggling, it could be circulation, hormones, or even medications working against you. My advice: don't give up on almonds, but also look at sleep, exercise, and stress. Sometimes one nut helps, but the whole pattern of life needs adjusting. Question 5. Dr. Prescott, I tried your walnut advice for 3 weeks and I swear my wife smiled at me differently last night. Thank you. Henry, 64, Texas. Answer: Henry, that's what this work is all about. A small change, a new sense of confidence, and the spark in a marriage renewed. I'm glad to hear it. Keep it up and tell your wife she deserves credit too. Gentlemen, your voices matter. Keep leaving your questions, your doubts, and your victories in the comments. I read them all. This is how we build a brotherhood of men who refuse to fade quietly. And now, with your questions heard, let's return to the truth you need to know. The nuts that silently sabotage your health, the ones you must avoid if you want to stay strong. Peanuts may be America's most familiar snack. You find them at baseball games, in peanut butter jars, in trail mixes, and scattered across coffee tables. And because they are everywhere, most men assume they must be safe, healthy even. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Peanuts are not what most people think they are. They are not true nuts at all. They are legumes. And unlike tree nuts, peanuts carry risks that can quietly chip away at a man's vitality. I'll share the story of Mr. Frank, 65 years old, a long-haul truck driver. Every evening on the road, he'd snack on roasted peanuts while watching television in his cab. He believed they were a smarter choice than candy bars or chips. But he came to me complaining of low energy, poor desire, and a sense that his strength was slipping away. When we looked deeper, I explained that his daily peanut habit might actually be part of the problem. He was stunned. One of the biggest dangers with peanuts is aflatoxins. These are toxins produced by molds that often contaminate peanut crops. They place extra strain on the liver, and when the liver struggles, hormones fall out of balance. Testosterone production dips, leaving men tired, irritable, and less capable in intimacy. Most men never make the connection between their snack bowl and their symptoms, but I've seen it time and again. Then there's the issue of fatty acids. Peanuts are heavy in omega-6 fats. While your body needs some omega-6, the modern diet already overflows with it, especially when not balanced by omega-3s. Too much omega-6 fuels inflammation, the enemy of circulation, the enemy of prostate health, and the enemy of strong erections. Inflammation stiffens arteries, irritates the prostate, and undermines testosterone itself. What looks like a harmless snack can, over years, contribute to enlargement of the prostate and a steady decline in performance. Now, does this mean you can never touch peanuts again? No, an occasional handful at a party or a spoonful of natural peanut butter won't destroy your health. The danger comes from making peanuts your daily automatic snack. It's the quiet repetition that does the damage. Think of it this way: if you're investing in your future health, peanuts are a stock that pays negative interest over time. Gentlemen, the foods we eat every day are the ones that matter most. And while peanuts may feel familiar and comforting, they are a poor investment for a man over 60 who wants to stay strong. If you've been leaning on them as your go-to snack, consider this a wake-up call. Trade them for walnuts, pistachios, or almonds, and your body will thank you. But peanuts are not the only trap. There is another nut, one that looks wholesome, even indulgent, that quietly robs your body of the very minerals you need to stay vital. That's where we're headed next. Cashews are sneaky. They look elegant, creamy, almost luxurious compared to other nuts. They show up in mixed nut packs, in stir-fries, and even as dairy substitutes in fancy health products. Because of that polished image, many men assume cashews must be just as good as walnuts or almonds. But the truth is, cashews carry hidden drawbacks that can quietly drain your vitality. Take Mr. Lawrence, 67 years old, a retired high school teacher. Every evening after dinner, he would sit down with a handful of cashews, proud that he was avoiding candy and cookies. Yet he told me he felt more sluggish, his waistline was growing, and his desire was fading. When we looked closer, the culprit became clear. His healthy cashew habit was undermining him in ways he had never imagined. One of the biggest issues with cashews is phytic acid. While harmless in small amounts, in larger quantities it binds to critical minerals like zinc and magnesium, two of the most important nutrients for men's health. Zinc fuels testosterone and keeps the prostate resilient. Magnesium calms stress, relaxes blood vessels, and supports circulation. When phytic acid blocks their absorption, your hormones dip, your blood flow suffers, and your confidence in intimacy slips away. Cashews also carry more carbohydrates than most nuts. That means blood sugar spikes are more likely, especially if you eat them by the handful. Each spike forces insulin to rise, and over time, high insulin drags testosterone down while promoting belly fat, the very combination that accelerates decline in older men. What feels like an innocent evening snack can slowly erode the foundations of vitality. Now, I'm not saying cashews are poison. A few tossed into a stir-fry or sprinkled over a salad is no problem. The danger is in making them your daily companion, consuming large portions without realizing the cost. Cashews in excess act like quiet thieves, robbing your body of minerals while feeding the very problems: low testosterone, poor circulation, creeping weight gain that men after 60 cannot afford to ignore. So here's my advice. Enjoy them occasionally, but don't trust them as your staple. Save your daily handful for walnuts, pistachios, or almonds, the nuts that give more than they take. Gentlemen, we've now walked through both sides of the coin, the 5 nuts that protect and fuel your health and the 2 that quietly sabotage it. But knowledge without action is wasted. That's why in the final part, I'll bring it all together with a clear message and a call to action you won't want to miss. Gentlemen, we've walked a full circle together. You've seen the 5 nuts that strengthen your prostate, fuel testosterone, sharpen nerve sensitivity, and restore confidence: walnuts, pistachios, almonds, hazelnuts, and Brazil nuts. And you've also seen the 2 that quietly work against you: peanuts and cashews. These are not just food choices, they are crossroads. One path moves you toward vitality, the other slowly chips away at it. I've witnessed it in real men. Men like you, the retired firefighter who rediscovered firmness with pistachios, the engineer who sharpened his sensations with hazelnuts, the mechanic who reignited testosterone with Brazil nuts. None of them thought such simple changes could matter. Yet they did. That's the power of daily decisions, the ones so small they often go unnoticed until the results appear in your energy, your marriage, your mornings. At 60 and beyond, it's not about chasing youth or pretending we're 20 again. It's about giving your body the fuel it craves so you can live fully, with strength, confidence, and intimacy intact. It's about being present with your partner, steady in your spirit, and unashamed of the man you still are. Now, I want to ask something of you. If this video spoke to you, hit that like button right now. Not just for me, for yourself. Because every tap is a promise that you refuse to surrender quietly to decline. And when you do, here's my wish for you. May your mornings feel stronger, may your evenings feel warmer, and may your heart beat steady for years to come. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss the practical, science-backed advice that could add years of vitality to your life. And leave a comment below, tell me which nut you'll start with, or which one surprised you the most. I read every comment, and your words inspire not just me but the entire community of men building strength together. Gentlemen, the choice is yours. 5 allies, 2 enemies. Eat with wisdom, live with confidence, and remember, you are not broken. You are simply a man rediscovering the tools to thrive.